Here it is, guys. I'm so excited. Here we go. Game number 600 and... two. Trust me, there's an entire story behind this. So, 600 games. That's a pretty mighty achievement, I will say. I will be honest, when it comes to my game collection, I don't have the largest. Far none. I never will acknowledge that I have the largest. Hell, comparing it to my friends, I think I may have the third largest game collection. I think my friend Devin, aka D Street, he has over 1,000 games in his collection, and Yosh has got to be somewhere in the 700 to 800 range. Maybe tied even with D Street. So, the point I'm getting to is that when it comes to a collection, especially a game collection, you always want those milestone games for when you reach a certain point. Usually, when you've hit the 100, 150, again, beyond that range, you really want something to be memorable. For example, the 100th game in my collection is actually the Japanese copy of Kirby's Adventure. No joke, this is game number 100, and this actually took me a couple of years to realize, because when I initially did the list originally, I didn't have a set timeline prior to 2017. And so this became 100, and then as time went on and I kept working on the list, reworking it out in terms of timeline, I came to discover that this, Final Fantasy Crystal Bearers, became game number 150. Then, to make it just a little more sentimental, my 200th game was Pinball for the NES. And I'm not talking about the Japanese version of Pinball, I'm talking about the American Pinball for the NES. 250, of course, as many people know, is Mario Odyssey. This was game 250 in my collection. After that came 300. And with 300, that was Chrono Cross for the PlayStation 1. And then when it came to game 350, it was Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo. Game 400 ended up being Dragon Quest Monsters 2 Ruckus. This was, again, surprisingly the 400th game. I didn't have any intentions on this being 400, but it became 400. So, it's another one of these situations that we are currently encountering, but in this case, it was more or less a surprise discovery. In that case, well, you'll find out in a few minutes here. So that was game 400. 450 ended up becoming one of my favorite Sega games of all time, Battle Over Yui. And I was actually extremely happy to allow this to be the 450th game in the collection, because it felt like such a necessary title to be a milestone game. After that came game number 500. And 500 is usually a big deal, especially for up-and-coming collectors. So for me, the 500th game ended up being Animal Crossing New Horizons, a fairly new game at the time when I got it. 550 would end up becoming Famicom Detective Club. And that only counted because the collector set I got also had 549. So it kind of counted on a technicality since it was 2 games bundled in one. Other than that, though, the real question came down to, in terms of my mind, what was 600 going to be? And this is where the story is about to get a little complicated. So, to start with, I really had no idea what 600 was going to be. There was a lot of possibilities running through my head over what Game 600 was. I know for the longest time the idea I had was going to be Doki Doki Literature Club. That was the planned 600th game. But what ended up happening was the physical release date for Doki Doki Literature Club got delayed from the initial August 31st date to September 21st. So we ended up ruling that out as a possible contender. Initially, I had also possibly had hopes that eBaseball 2021 Spirits Grand Slam would have been 600. But going back and reconfiguring a few things, this ended up becoming game number 597. What ended up happening was, surprisingly enough, this was 597, and then we ended up coming across 2 additional games that were downloaded on the Switch that I did not count into the list yet, which were Gunbird and Gunbird 2, and that got us to the number 599. So the real battle for what 600 was going to be was going to come down to whatever choice I had to make regarding getting games for the remainder of Game-O-Rama Uncut season. And I had initially 2 choices in mind. Choice number 1 was Cotton Reboot. Now, Cotton Reboot is, of course, a port / remaster of the original 1993 arcade game Panorama Cotton, which had also gotten released on systems like the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, and the Sega Saturn. I was really looking forward to this, and trust me, this will be the catalyst for everything we're about to talk about. So, we'll get to this in a minute. The second choice, and this was kind of the backup idea, was going to be Super Real Mahjong 2 through 7 collection. So this is initially a, not really a remastering, but a port of all the Super Real Mahjong games from the Super Nintendo up to the PlayStation 1. And this contains games 2 through 7. And I didn't initially think this was going to be 600. This was always kind of a backup idea. And humorously enough, it was maybe this close to becoming the 600th game. But something ended up happening. So ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce you to the real 600th game, Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games. So, how did all this happen? Well, here's the story. So initially I had planned on Cotton Reboot being 600. That was the plan from the get-go. And what ended up happening was I set the order for the game through PlayAsia. We went through the usual routine of they get the information day one, the minute I set up the order and all that. And as I usually expected, it gets shipped out the next day. So the usual happens. The order is set up, it gets shipped out the next day. No big deal. In my mind, I'm thinking, alright, it'll be here for the 16th. Not the 16th, the 17th. Give or take. And so it gets as far in terms of travel up to Alaska. Anchorage, Alaska, to the FedEx hub over there. Now trust me, FedEx is going to be a real bitch in this story. So it gets to the FedEx hub in Alaska. And as usual, my initial content was, alright, it's going to spend maybe half a day in Alaska and then it'll be off and on its way. That didn't end up happening. So here's what ended up happening. Initially, it ended up in Alaska for about 3 days, as what I predicted. Because as FedEx's tracking system told me, it was set to be here by the 19th. And I was like, alright, kind of a little off of what I expected. Again, usually 17th, 18th, somewhere in that range. A day or so off, I wouldn't really mind. However, the 17th would come, the 18th would come. I knew it wasn't going to come the 18th. That was a pipe stream. The 19th showed up. And at this point, I'm sitting here thinking, alright, it's got to show up. 19th comes and goes. Nothing arrives. So at that point, I'm like, alright, I got to figure out what's going on with this damn thing. Because according to the tracking machine, it still says it's stuck in Alaska. So I'm going to figure this out. I am going to fucking call the goddamn company and put myself at ease and try to figure out what's going on. I gave him a call. I explicitly explained to him what happened and said, hey, this was supposed to be here for the 19th. It's off. It's not going to show up now. I have no idea where it's at. It keeps saying it's stuck in Alaska. Would you look into this? Customer service rep said, absolutely. Yes, we'll take a look right into that and we'll get in contact with the Alaska hub to figure out what's going on. Wonderful. Perfect. Excellent. Nothing to really worry about. We'll give you a call back within about 24 hours. Perfect. 24 hours pass. Nothing. Absolutely goddamn nothing. No call, no reply, nothing. So about 2 or so days later, call number 2. We tried contacting them again. And we get a different guy this time, and we explicitly go through everything that had happened. I say, we were supposed to get this package on the 19th, never showed up. We called a couple days prior to inquire what's going on. They said they'd look into it, give us a call back. Well, it's been a few days, we haven't gotten a call back. They said, alright, let's take a look into this again. They took a look into it again, and they said, well, we got a case number on it, so we're looking into this. Give us another 24 hours and we'll get back to you. And I said, alright, fine, perfect. At this point, my anger is not at a boiling point. That's fine. What struck me, though, was, I believe after that second call, may have been the second or third, this showed up. And I ordered this a day or so after I ordered this. And this got through customs, no problem. No problem whatsoever. It wasn't stuck. I didn't have to call twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times the charm. I didn't have to call, it just showed up. No issue. This, you would assume, would have been 600 then. But no. There's another catalyst to this. Around that same time, I was talking to my stepdad. God bless his soul. He's a very nice man. He does what he can. He's a very, very, very nice man. Nothing to rag on him against this. And he was helping me look for games for our winter session when we get into the winter seasons. And he sent me a photo of this game, Mario and Sonic. He said, found this, do you have it? I said, well, initially I didn't answer back because I was still asleep. But the external note that I made was, no, I don't have that one. He came home hours before I would get this. Surprise, surprise, he got me the game. So that's how this became 600. Was I frustrated? Kind of, a bit. Because I'd expected, Switch import to take the milestone, but it didn't. This got the honor. I'm not 100% upset. He had the best intentions, he did. He did the careful father thing he wanted to do. And I appreciate him for it, and I love him for it. It upsets me, though, that it came at a kind of a freaking rushed time. If that's the best word I'm looking for. So, yeah. This, folks, is the 600th game. love it or leave it, this is 600. Now, I could have pulled any of the older tactics I used to do, like what I did with Mario Odyssey, or anything of that nature, where I would hold on to anything I had gotten prior to that, because I knew this one game was going to be that milestone. But I didn't do that. I just went straight forward. So this is 600. End of story. Back to our story regarding this. So this had shown up around, like I said, somewhere between the second and third call. So we are on now call number 3 with fucking FedEx. And in call 3, I'm told once again, well, we have a case number on it, we're looking into it. For some reason, what Customs is telling us is that there's some issues with the information. And I'm like, well, that's nice to know now. You know, given that we are 3-4 days past the expected shipping in date. Yeah, that's fucking lovely to know now. And they said, well, we'll have someone call you back in 24 hours and they'll explain what's going on. And I said, as long as I can help in any God-given way. Alright, end of call. 24 hours pass. I do get a call this time. Shocking, I know. I got a call this time. The person on the other end told me the reason for the game's delay wasn't because of issues with Customs. They told me it was because of bad weather. Now, granted, this was around the time of Tropical Storm Henry. And luckily it didn't hit us. We mostly just got storms. We didn't get like the full-blown that. We just got like heavy amounts of rain. But that was their reasoning as for why the package was being held. Now, frankly, I could understand that. I could get that. I wasn't going to be that upset. Would it have been better, however, had they had put that into the tracking system under like important notices, delayed due to weather, or important notices, delayed due to issues with Customs? That would have been reasonable. Would it not have? So, the reason we're now given is weather. Alright, fine. Storms will only be here for a few days, and hopefully it'll eventually ship out, and that'll be it. A few more days pass. Nothing showed up. It's been very fucking nice the last couple days. Nothing came. So, here we go. Another call. And around this time as well, I've been contacting the seller, PlayAsia, to let them know what the hell's been going on. And they were like, well, we'll get in contact with FedEx as well to see what's happening, and we'll try to hopefully get you a more concise answer on all this. Because again, the answers I were given were issues with Customs, weather. Those were the two issues I were given. So, let's keep PlayAsia's response back in a little folder right now. So we are on now call number 4. Call number 4. They had gotten back to me once within 3 calls. We are on call number 4. And at this point, I am near fucking just melting rage. I didn't get angry yet. I just called in and said, hey, just wanted to know if there was any additional updates on that case. And if, you know, there's anything I need to supply to help, I don't know. You know, please, you know, let me know. And they were like, we'll give you a call back when we get the time to let you know what's going on. Great, wonderful, perfect. At this point, a week has passed. A week has passed from the initial delivery date. It's supposed to be on the 19th. It is now the 26th. Nothing had come in. We had done about 4 phone calls in a week to figure out where this package is. So, again, week had passed. They told me they'd call me back. Never did again. Only called me back once in those 4 phone calls so far. I allow a few more days to pass, thinking, alright, I'll hear back from PlayAsia, maybe they'll have something. Didn't hear back from PlayAsia yet, so I'm like, great, this is wonderful. Let's give them another call. Call number 5. So we give them the 5th and, at this point, final call. Well, what became at that point the final call. And at this point, my brain is just fucking burned. I am so boilingly angry right now that I didn't have a screaming match with the customer service rep as much as I wanted to give him a good tongue lashing. I was this fucking furious over everything that had happened and just trying to get some form of a response from FedEx that I finally snapped and I lost it. I said, alright. I said, listen to me. This package has been stuck in Alaska for a week. A week. It was supposed to be here on the 19th. It did not show up. It is over a week past due. They tell me there is a case file being worked on because there's some issue with customs. Then I'm being told it's something about the weather. And then, I'm told I'm going to get a call back and I never get a call back. What is going on? The man's like, I understand your frustration. We are very, very sorry that this had happened to you. Might we recommend, and it was at this point my head's going, if you are about to say contact the seller, I am going to fucking hang up right now. Might I recommend contacting the seller? Alright, that's it. Well, thank you for your helpful information, Mr. Asshole. That's it. End of line. I said thanks. Ended the phone call. That was it. I messaged PlayAsia again and said, hey, I said, I've called these guys now 5 times to try to get information. They still got nothing. Have you guys found anything yet? Please let me know as soon as possible. I get a message back 2 days later. Oh yeah, FedEx told us that the package was lost. And I'm just like, wow. Wow. It has been lost this entire fucking time. So, again, to clarify, this got through okay, and I ordered this after this. That got through okay, though. This ended up lost. Lost. And they didn't have the goal to fucking tell me that they had lost the package. It's fucking mind-boggling sometimes. I swear to God, it's mind-boggling. But yeah, package was lost. PlayAsia said, we're very sorry to hear that. We'll be more than happy to give you a refund. We want to know, do you want it in, back on your card, or do you want to put it through our wallet system on our website? So that way you could buy a new game or accessory or book or whatever through our website. I asked them at one point, is there any possible way I can get a replacement copy sent, since they had lost the first copy? And they got back to me, thank God enough, and told me, oh yeah, absolutely, we can send you a replacement copy. The difference is going to be, however, if this copy gets lost, we can't refund you again. We can't send another replacement. You get 2 chances. You lose the first package because of them, we'll refund you, or we'll give you the replacement. You lose the replacement, or they will lose the replacement, that's it. Game over. So I'm like, alright. I'm thinking about this for a couple hours. I'm thinking, alright, I gotta figure out what I want to do. Do I want to just do the replacement, or do I just want to get the refund? And I weighed both options and I decided, you know what, I'll take the refund. Thanks for answering the question though in regards to replacement. It does ease my mind a bit to know that you guys do replacement copy assurance. So I ended up ordering this copy off of eBay for like about the same price I paid for it at PlayAsia, maybe an additional $2 due to tax, but it's about the same price. It showed up within about a week, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, my initial thoughts were that this was going to be 600, and then for a while when this was lost, this was going to be 600, but then in a surprise twist of fate, this became 600. Folks, this is the life of a game collector. This is how confusing it can sometimes be. With that said, folks, this is Tony. I'm signing out. I'll see you all next time.
Cocoa